before I begin, I do want to discuss real quick my bona fides. I not only have been playing EVE Online for 10 years, but I have been a Doctor Who fan. I haven't seen very much of the more recent stuff, but I was a huge Doctor Who fan when that was like the big thing in America. In fact, just to show it, here is my post on the question was on science fiction and fantasy stack exchange. It was, with what mindset should I watch Doctor Who? And my answer, which was the selected answer, suggests that you should watch it with the mindset of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And then my other one was, I asked the question, are the Weeping Angels Time Lords? And I presented a case for it, right? So I've been a Doctor, I know a thing or two about Doctor Who. I have a TARDIS in the other room. I'm not like the old school diehard fan, but, you know, I should be one of the people that are excited about this. And I'm extremely nervous. So let's jump into it. Do I think that the game's going to survive it? Yes. Do I think it's fine? The world of Doctor Who is coming to EVE Online via a limited time crossover event taking place on New Eden from 13th of January. So first things first, this is not a permanent addition to the game. This is a limited time crossover event. However, the skins and the clothing items from it will be permanent, of course. And we have this little video. Alrighty. Now then, for those of you who don't watch Doctor Who, the sound, the voice there was the Daleks, which are like the iconic villain of Doctor Who. Okay. It is kind of a cool video. I have mixed feelings. Okay. Doctor Who is the longest running sci-fi series of all time, first being broadcast on the BBC in 1963. This is absolutely true, and still going strong today. There's a little caveat to that, which is that it's not the longest continuously running. They've had pretty long breaks, but it is true. The Time Lord and their many iconic foes are beloved the world over, and now it is up to you, the pilots of New Eden, to continue the fight against the Doctor's greatest enemy. The EVE Online Doctor Who crossover will take place in an entirely original in-game event called the Interstellar Convergence, set before the Time Lord's 400-year-long conflict with the Daleks, the last great Time War. This very special EVE event will run for over 2 weeks until the 1st of February. So this is point one that stood out to a lot of people, which is that if EVE Online takes place like 20,000 years in the future, how can this event take place 400 years before the events of Doctor Who? That being said, the entire point of Doctor Who is weird time travel, time travelness about things. And like, there was a time war and that could cause really crazy stuff. I think that the storyline is that there's like this nexus in time that's like sucking things from all different places in space-time. So we just happen to be one of the things that are being sucked into it. We'll look into that when we look into the actual sites, but I think that that's kind of where we're going with this story, which is how this works. But it's very, very sketchy. All right, the Interstellar Convergence will be unlike any other EVE event before it, introducing a beguiling mystery, a trail of clues, multiple challenges, themed items, and even a vibrant new area of space. Right, and we see a lot of this on Sissy too. So we probably don't have the sites to run itself, but we can look at the pieces of it. Unearth Doctor Who's related artifacts and use them to track down the Daleks' menace, face off against the infamous evildoers in an interstellar battle of the ages, and claim Doctor Who's inspired rewards to take back to New Eden. To find out more on the threat that is coming to New Eden Star Cluster, keep an eye on the EVE Online news page, social channels, and more. There's much to be learned about how wormhole-like phenomena has been taking ships from New Eden to an unknown area of space littered with wrecks of unknown vessels and traces of others that have moved on. But what do these traces mean? And what does that have to do with the Daleks? Discover more starting the 13th of January. So we're going to have 3 weeks to get this all sorted, I think, right? I don't know if they said it here yet, but all right. And then, so this is a note. There looks to be environments added in for all different, all these different, not all planets, but a lot of different planets. Are people losing their mind about Doctor Who? That's a lot of what I've seen. The one thing you can be sure of is the Interstellar Convergence will be one of the most distinct, engrossing events. Hold on. Sorry. The Interstellar Convergence will be one of the most distinct, engrossing events to ever take place in EVE Online. Whether you're a diehard fan of the Time Lord's adventures or an entirely new Doctor Who, what's more, the Interstellar Convergence has been designed from the ground up to offer experienced EVE players plenty of fresh and captivating gameplay, while remaining welcoming to new pilots, including Doctor Who fans who are new to EVE Online. Yeah, okay. And then there's a link to the main homepage. So let's talk. Let's talk. First of all, I want to, this isn't really about my opinion about it. But I do want to, like, I guess, feel like what I need to correct or need to, like, put into context. And one of the biggest things is the idea of choosing to do this, right? Either choosing to do Doctor Who or choosing to, as opposed to a different IP, or choosing to spend the development resources in order to do it. Not necessarily the choosing of whether or not to do it at all or not, but, like, the thing is that ultimately these kinds of things are a marketing decision. And I know that that gets said a lot as a cop-out, but what I mean by that is it is not necessarily very much in CCP's control who they do a partnership with, right? The only thing they can do is put feelers out to see if anybody's interested. Or conversely, it's very possible that they were reached out to. We actually don't know the details of this arrangement or why they would feel it interesting to do it, right? It is worth noting that this is the first time that this is the first time that CCP has ever done a crossover event like this. Now, a few months ago, or about a month ago, I had put out the idea of what if CCP had introduced like the Starship Enterprise as a model for a new ship. Like, don't call it that, or maybe you could call it the Enterprise, but it's like that's the new SOE ship or something like that. Have it be in universe as to why it's there, right? But just have it be that model by happenstance, and have that be a crossover thing. And, you know, I was kind of feeling around that idea because I think that that would be removed enough that could potentially be okay. And seeing that in space, I don't think would necessarily be a disturbance because there's a reason why it's there. Yeah, I chose the Enterprise versus like the a great Star Wars ship because I think Star Wars ships could probably be snuck in a lot easier unless it's like literally a TIE fighter. But anywho, this is definitely not what I expected, right? This is something that is really concerning in a lot of reasons because it boils down to a signal of whether or not CCP is taking their IP seriously or not, right? So to contrast this, and I've said this many times as a way of saying it's a good thing or whatever, when the Crimson Harvest came out in 2015, it was considered to be borderline, on the edge. Because like it was Blood Raiders, and it was happening at Halloween, but there was nothing that made it say that it was that, right? And when I made the Garistus Bunny suggestion, one Eve panel at Eve Vegas, that was laughed off. Now, a few years later, or a couple years later, we got Garistus for Easter. So it was kind of that. And Sancha for winter, Sancha Claus. So there's always been this tongue-in-cheek references kind of snuck in, or associations. Major Tom, again, I think that Major Tom is acceptable to people because it's something that could be there. A tribute is different than a commercial crossover, I think. Because they're not saying that. No, I'll tell you what the difference is. Because Major Tom doesn't suggest something about our world. The reference isn't to the song Major Tom. The reference is to a character that we know what it is. Whereas this is Doctor Who and all of its connotations, all of its lore being basically, now we say that this is canonically part of the same universe. And even if they say that that's not true, we're going to have these items as a permanent remaining of this apparent mass hallucination. And that's really odd. Now, there is some precedent for that. Because like the Aether Wars event came with a skin. But again, that Aether Wars event, there is suggestion that the Aether Wars event, like the event of it, was canonically occurred, right? That was a thing that happened. We just got to experience it during the test. So either this means that Doctor Who is real, which brings up a whole new connection to Earth that I'm not sure I'm comfortable with. Or it's not real. It gets dismissed as non-canonical, and that has implications for the things that are in the game from that point on. Okay, so let's look at those in kind. If it is real, then that means that the Doctor Who universe and Eve universe are canonically attached. That means that the events of Earth as we've seen them in Doctor Who are the historical events of New Eden, unless we actually go full multiverse. So far they've avoided the idea of full-on confirming multiverse in Eve. So even if that was true, that would still be huge. But yeah, it's very conflicting to me, or at least I think that there will be a lot of angst within the lore community, and I know that there'll be a lot of angst within the lore community with the idea that we now have a actual tie between these two universes, and therefore one could argue that the Doctor Who canon is somehow attached to Eve canon. I will be talking to never mind. Spoilers, sweetie. So I also want to talk about somebody's on Reddit was suggesting that, or no, somebody on the forums complained that that Eve Online takes place 20,000 years after Doctor Who is dead. And I was like, that is the one piece of this that does make sense. Okay. So for anybody who does suggest that the TARDIS, which is Doctor Who's vehicle, that police box, stands for time and relative dimension in space. Oh my God. Okay, I'm just going to close this. All right. Time and relative dimension in space. It's a time machine. It's a time machine. He's gone to the end of time. He's gone to the beginning of time. Okay? Like, if there is a physical and temporal connection between the EVE Online universe and the Doctor Who universe, there's no question that the Doctor could breach that gap. Okay? Like, that's not the part that's wrong with this. I will also say that I have had it suggested to me by CCP that this has been that this was worked on very closely by both, CCP's lore folks and the BBC to make sure this is done right. So I hope that there's an explanation for this. This is one of the big things I want to really explore, but nervous about that because that's a very fine line to walk. Sorry, I also got distracted. The point is about the choice of Doctor Who is that, like, a big piece of this when it comes to the development effort of it is, like, when you develop new events, they are working on new tech, right? As they come out with these techs, they have to have experiments with these. These experiments need events. Those events are like empty slots, right? So the fact that one of the events is just Doctor Who themed doesn't actually make any more real development effort from the team, from the design team perspective. In fact, it really only is an experimental, like a time for them to experiment. That said, they also, depending on what the relationship is, will probably have gotten resources to do this crossover, right? And thus, it may just be a good idea. CCP's been expanding their staff. They've been working on getting people onboarded and stuff. And this is the kind of project that actually would be probably pretty good for a relatively new people or interns or external people to work on and make done while they can work on the next, the events and the other stuff that's supposed to come after FanFest. It actually really makes sense to me that this would be a filler thing, right? Because chances are a fair chunk of this isn't done by them and certainly isn't done by the main teams that are working on the new stuff. I'm not defending the crossover. I'm defending pieces of it. I'm only showing why it might be chosen and why they didn't choose something like Firefly. That was what I was talking about. So on the side of, well, this isn't canonical. There's this tweet by CCP Explorer that I snap back at. He says, some events are lore, others are not. Yule Lads are example are not lore. And I snap back, no, the Yule Clones campaign is intended. Yeah, I quoted this from the newest World News. And as a caveat to this, technically speaking, he said Yule Lads. The Yule Lads could, as CCP Fozzie pointed out in one of the Discords, he could have been referencing the original Yule Lads videos from like 2012 with Santa and all that, that we looked at actually right during the holidays. Not the Yule clones, which are actually canonically worked into the universe. So that's very possible. And if so, I still had fun calling him out for it. Either way, I don't like this idea. This really depends on what they mean. Like if he's suggesting that some things tied to Eve are not necessarily going to be lore, that's okay. The Yule Lads being a video to celebrate Christmas was fine. If it's an in-game event, capital E, we have a really big problem if we have non-canonical events in EVE Online, I would suggest. That would be a huge change in focus. Like I said, in Crimson Harvest, they didn't even want to suggest it was a holiday. They didn't want to even suggest it was tied to the actual holiday itself, right? The point is that there's supposed to be a suspension of disbelief, and this has always been important to CCP, and that commitment is one of the things that have kept the lore community tied on. And I don't think the lore community would accept this kind of statement as a reality if they mean in-game events. Again, if they mean out-of-game stuff related to EVE, like EVE videos or whatever, fine. If they're talking about things that are happening in-game, it needs to be canonical. That's just my opinion right now. All right. Let's see. Let's also talk about... I do want to also bring up one other point, which was on the EVE subreddit, which, oh no, it's reloading, which means I have no control over what it's going to be. Okay. So there's a couple of posts on EVE subreddit that I want to say, look into and respond to real quick. There is Torvald's post saying that he threw away his year fighting for faction warfare because he fought for this. He hasn't gotten it, and they're introducing these crossovers. He is very mad. And, you know, in a lot of ways, probably rightfully so. I still hold out hope that, as I said, the big systems are still coming, and they have shown interest in faction warfare. I would be very shocked if they just kind of don't have something coming for it. In fact, the planetary environments being tested in the Doctor Who event sites are kind of interesting. I just hope that this statement will be seen as premature in the future. I guess I'll put it that way. But at this point, CCP has made themselves a pretty narrow line to walk. The other one I wanted to respond to is this one. Dear CCP, we write the story, not you. This is saying that basically the story should be about the players and not them creating a universe or whatever with events. Here's the thing about that, right? Like, CCP is the E of PvE. Okay? Everything, that's what CCP does. CCP can't write the story for you, right? I mean, like, CCP can write what's happening in the universe, and that is what they've done. It's what they've always done. In fact, the Eve used to always be more about the lore than it was, it used to be more lore focused and character actor focused than it was even today, back in the day. The lore continues on, whether or not the events of the lore are in the face of the players at the moment. And the players only think of it at the times that it's relevant to them, right? They see Caroline Star and they see the Drifter attacks, but they don't see any of the events in between unless you're actively paying attention to them. That doesn't mean that they didn't happen. That being said, as I suggested somewhere down here, where is it? It's probably got downvoted now that I think about it. Basically, I said that the purpose of the lore is to provide catalysts for player action and show response to player action, right? That's really where it's going to find its value, in my opinion, because by saying that the state is doing this or whatever, that may trigger people that are loyal to that to actually take action. And you may think that that's silly, but I would point to Flossiswin, which was a conflict that was literally ignited by the EVE character actors and the RPers that were willing to follow their orders. So now it shouldn't necessarily be something that somebody has to engage with, right? Catalysts are like, if somebody just wants to go focus on nullsec stuff and player stuff, that's totally fine. But the point is that these catalysts function as trigger points, turning up the world, causing things to happen, causing different pieces to be interesting, right, at different times, and causing players to invest deeper into various aspects of the game. The other piece of it is that the lore should show recognition of what we do. This is one of the things that CCP has difficulty with the most, I would say, which is that, I mean, like, ultimately, things like Poachfin assigned where the systems ended up being. And theoretically, it could have been stopped, but practically, absolutely not. There are other, like, most of the time, the lore events have a conclusion, and it's really to tell us a story. Whereas in the world news, often you see things that are a response to us as players. The faction warfare stuff, and other player actions and activities get reflected in the lore, in the world news, where the universe itself reacts to the things that are happening in the game. Even things that aren't player lore stuff, like nullsec wars get reported, and player and NPCs respond to them in the world news sometimes. So I think that those are the two places where EVE lore really provides value to EVE Online. Now, the EVE lore is valuable outside of that too, because it is actually a really interesting IP, and it functions as a continuously writing real-time sci-fi universe that can create stories like the new comic book that they made, and like the previous one that they did, the True Stories of EVE. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of get those out of the way. So in conclusion, do I like it? I'm super skeptical. I've got a lot of questions. I refuse to say I like it. Is it acceptable? Absolutely. It'll survive. Now, what is my biggest problem with it? Sorry, I forgot to go over this. My biggest problem with it is, you guys are going to think it's silly. Trust me. Hold on. My biggest problem with it, anybody want to guess? Can anybody guess before I find it? Anyone want to guess? No? No? All right. This isn't it. Hold on. Actually, I want to see these. No cat ears? Okay. I'll get to the cat ears too. This isn't it. This is not it. Nope, nope, nope. Where is it? So it may be a short-lived event, but these will be in the game forever. I don't know if it's going to be like, so they said that this is a reward that you can bring back home by doing these things. That means it might be part of the reward track, which means it might be bind on account. And I'm not upset. I'm skeptical, highly skeptical. These frustrate me because if they're sellable, then we're going to have to deal with these forever. If they're bind on account, then we're only going to have to deal with them for the people that are there, and it kind of becomes a cool thing that's like marks the fact that you were there, whatever, cool. The thing is that, like, it's less like, oh my god, there's Doctor Who clothes in my thing, but like, how many trolls are going to make terrible faces with bow ties now? Maybe it'll be fine. I see this becoming the worst meme ever. That's my real problem, honestly. Like, shoot, where's the female one? I had the female one too. This is even, I mean, like, at least the bow tie, you could argue. is it like it makes sense that a person wears a bow tie, but like, oh boy, a lot of people like it here apparently. It's cold in space.
They would be immortal.
Oh, I'm gonna mute this now, but all right. CWB by Pete, thank you for joining us on the Round Hole Jeeve Online. So have I played the event? No, I have not. There's a new fashion shop in Jeddah selling weird scarves, it looks like. Well, they specifically say that we're bringing these things back from the timey-wimey portal in the thing. Hold on. I'm not crazy. I went over this earlier, I think. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not crazy. The Interstellar Convergence will be unlike any other EVE event before it, introducing a beguiling mystery, a trailing clues, multiple challenges, themed events, and even a... nope, that's not it. Dang it. Where is it? I could have sworn it said something about... Yeah. Here it is. Unearth Doctor Who-related artifacts and use them to track down the Dalek menace. Face off against infamous evildoers in an interstellar battle of the ages, and then claim Doctor Who-inspired rewards to take back to New Eden. Boom. So this implies to me that probably the scarves are gotten there. Hey, Erslog. And hey, everybody. All right. Oh, did I get a raid? Oh, yes, I did. Thank you. Glorification of fit, mortification of unfit. You, sir, are glorified. Have a good one, man. 07, thank you. Check out Urslog's stream. All right, moving on. Sorry, this also goes on YouTube, so I got to keep going. I got to keep going. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about what we are looking at for the event. So I've got Singularity here with a bunch of stuff and strings. And then I've also got a lot of stuff in game. So the first thing I want to look at for strings, they're towards the end. I'm sad that this got restarted. So here looks like the event tasks. We're going to look at them. Air researchers are reporting unusual natural phenomena appearing all over New Eden. Equip your ship with core scanner probes and relic analyzer module and scan down one of the warp matrix Convergence signatures. So it all starts out with scanning down a relic site. Okay. Then explore the contents of a peculiar debris fragment using a relic analyzer module. That's still the relic site. These fragments can be found, blah. Continue analyzing additional fragments. This probably means it's repeatable. The Empire's pirate factions and industrial capsuleers all desire the materials and data that you have collected using your relic analyzer. Sell some of the peculiar data collections, time crystal oscillators, and or strange matter components using the market. I assume that this is suggesting selling it to buy orders, which if it says Empire's pirate factions and industrious capsuleers, it probably means that these are going to be all over the place. I don't know why industrious capsuleers will be wanting to buy them. Interesting. Equip your ship with core scanner probes. Yes. Continue analyzing peculiar debris fragments. Yes. This is a repeat. Obtain and activate a curious, enigmatic, or mysterious warp matrix filament while flying an exploration frigate or covert ops frigate equipped with a relic analyzer module, and use your analyzer module to explore the contents of the peculiar ruins inside this curious new space. So part 2, we get a filament, and that takes us to a new, we're going to call abyssal space. And in there, it will be required you to have T1 or T2 exploration frigate. And it's a relic site that is in the filament. Continue analyzing additional peculiar ruins. Use a relic analyzer of peculiar debris fragments found within the warp matrix Convergence signatures. Nope, already did that one, right? Yeah. This is all repeat again. Oh, these are constructing the different ones. Okay. Filament construction. Using the materials and blueprints that you obtained from your own exploration efforts and the market, manufacture a curious warp matrix filament. Oh, here you go. That's why Industrious Capsuleers are buying them. That's why. You can bring an Astero, but not a Daredevil? I don't think you can bring an Astero. Hold on. Shoot. Oh, yeah, you can. Fair enough. Well, I know what I'm doing it in. No, actually, there is a reasonably good reason why you can do it in an Astero, but not a Daredevil, because I think that the whole lore thing is that you're doing this on behalf of Air, which, as you know, have like their own Astero thing. Also, 1 second. I gotta tone this down a little bit, I think. There we go. All right. So you're going to get a blueprint and stuff. So you get the blueprints from inside the wormhole, or inside the filament, and you're going to need material from the sites that are around in known space. Okay. You might get some of that material in there too. I don't know. Now, while exploring in space accessed by a precarious warp matrix filament, destroy a hostile biochemical combat unit. Okay, so step 3, use the warp matrix filament that you've just gotten. Wait. Yeah, hold on. Yes, curious, enigmatic, and mysterious warp matrices are going to be that, I think the Relic and Analyzer one, right? And from there, once you get those filaments, you get the stuff to build these filaments that take you into a combat site. So within the combat site, you have to do, you get points for destroying a ship, and you get, here's a good one, you get points for damage. Now, I know that there's a lot of reason to hate on this event, but can we please all just take a moment to thank them for finding a better solution than last hit on the last rat, for Christ's sake. All right. The Empire, Pirate Faction, and Industrial Capsuleers. Yeah. Also, biochemical saucers. So we're going to be fighting biomechanoid saucers inside of the events, or inside of the combat filament. All right. Cool. So let's see what we can see in game now. So we have the Curious Warp Matrix filament, which is what, which says FTL transport filament device that will entangle the end of a space-time filament with a ship's warp core on activation. This will create a local space-time conduit and draw the ship along to the destination defined by the end of the filament. The mass energy exchange involved leads a highly energetic trace at the ship's origin point, and the space-time filament remains entangled with the warp core of the ship that uses it. Entanglement of the warp core with the space-time filament typically introduces severe deformation of the ship's warp field that leads to catastrophic failure after a defined period of time. This device is also using a warp matrix structure in an attempt to compensate for space-time warp paradox effects at the defined terminal point of filament. Yes. I read it, though. So there you go. this is curious to me because so this is referencing the 20-minute timer, but the second sentence suggests that that 20-minute timer may not exist in this site. That's kind of how I read it. Well, yes, the combat site is also a filament. We'll get to those in a second. So then we have the Dalek frigate wrecks. I assume that these are the sites in... Sure, why not? These are the sites in... Or these are the wrecks that we use analyzers on, right? So this is in the sites that the explorers go to, all right? Which is, by the way, if we see these images... Hold on. Let's play this again with muted. So that construction there I don't think that's it. So which one is it? I recognized it. It was one of the ones that they bounced into. Ow, whatever. I think that they showed off the actual sites that we're going to be in here in those flashes. Okay. Ruined structures built according to some peculiar and varied architectural principles are floating at precious rest amidst the turbulent space-time warp paradox effects of in this pocket of space. No two ruins seem to have any particular relationship with one another. Each ruin shows signs of having been pulled into this paradoxical pocket of space, along with many different conduits connected together by a tangled knot of space-time filaments. So this is, I think, inside of the first filament. And this is where I go into what I think is the story here, where like something happened 400 years before the Time War to basically entangle a whole bunch of points in space-time in this one point in space-time, and it's ripping things to there. So that's where we're going and why we're going there. It's basically we're being pulled into this massive implosion of space-time that occurred 400 years before the Time War. I mean, if you're going to do it, sure. At least it kind of works. I don't know. Cosmic strings. Then we have the paradoxical nebula firework. Space Pyronex. Yeah, we can't necessarily look at this one until we can get it. There is a displaced erratic sentry turret. Scans indicate this heavily damaged automated combat turret has completely different material composition from all the other structures visible in this area of space. Where did this turret originate and how did it end up so far from home? I imagine this is going to be low damage, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I mean, obviously, it can't be terrible, too terrible of a threat to even like a T1 exploration frigate, but maybe this is like just to require you to bring at least weapons. Heavily damaged biomechanoid saucer. Strange design of this spaceship with a distinctive saucer shape that the sensor readings indicate. Indicate uses of unknown form of biomechanical technology. This ship appears to be heavily damaged and suffering from the effects of local space, but it's likely that an automated defense system are still active and pose something of a danger to the unwary. Okay, so yeah, these are likely tied to those turrets. The saucers chase at 4,000 meters per second orbit and 5,000, 500 meters per second at 10 kilometers and are 1,000 meter sig. So they chase at 4,000, but if they're within 10, they orbit at 500. So that's like the micro warp drive, basically. They have 1,000 meters sig. So this is a combat. Yeah. Okay. So this is like a real combat ship. It does Omni damage. All of these things do Omni damage. If you fit a 1 million meganewton civilian afterburner on a Titan, you can kite the saucers. I don't know if I would go that far. All right, so let's keep going. We have, and then we also have a couple of the, well, let's keep looking at these things first. So then we have the warp matrix conduit trace. This is an energetic conduit trace left behind by activation of warp matrix variant of filament device used for FTL transport. Looks like a different visual effect than the old filament trace. Could be cool. Large peculiar ruin, I think. That's fine. All right. Then Dalek debris. That just looks like, this looks like just site data. So we can kind of see some of the models, but not much. All right, precarious warp filament. Yeah, these things don't actually give that much information, but we know that the precarious one is combat. Do I have to go up to the, back to Hoboleaks to get the information I want? Hold on. Let me make sure. Nope, these don't get the information. Hold on. Let me pull up Hoboleaks again and find it. Because there is more information about what these filaments take. Or at least let you bring, I mean. Here we go. So in the combat filament, oh, it actually says here, and I didn't see this part. So this warp matrix filament appears to be connected to a peculiarly dangerous pocket of spacetime that will likely require some caution and adequate defensive and operation combat systems. Air advises the encounters on the other side will likely be much easier to overcome if you bring an ally. So it's designed for a fleet of either 1 or 2 basic T1 cruisers. So it means an Omen, Caracal, Thorax, Stabber, Mauler, Moa, Vexer, or Rupture. Nothing else. 2 Tech 1 cruisers. That's pretty cool, actually. I kind of like that about. I like that idea. And then likewise, the exploration one, it allows all the T1, T2, including the Astero and the Pacifier for exploration frigates. Is that all we can pull out from the sites? I think that's all of the information about the site. So let's look at the rewards. We already looked at some of these, but just to poke at these again. We have these new shirts. This is probably going to be a login reward. The most important question is really who would wear a t-shirt like this? Okay, CCP, you don't have to be so down on yourself, man. Like, oh shit. I see, every other time I've minimized Chrome, it just closed. So I thought it would just work the same as every other time. Yeah, that's really funny. Men's Convergence. Same. Really not noteworthy. But then we have, as we showed it earlier, the scarfs. There's the girl. There's the boy. Oh yeah, there's a bow tie top. And then here you go. Here's the woman's dapper suit. I actually, you know what really bothers me now? Even if we accept that all of this is acceptable, did this have to be one piece? I mean, I guess the suspenders don't really work with like it has to be with the pants. But I don't, maybe not. Did this have to be one thing? It could be, if you just split it into pants and top and, accessory, then you could be fine. Let's talk about the cat ear thing. Now, you know what? Yeah, let's talk about the cat ear thing. Shoot, I didn't even look it up. Gosh darn it. I know I meant to prepare for something. So we're talking about, why does CCP introduce this kind of thing before cat ears? So let's journey into that for real. This was the April 1st, April Fool's Day joke in 2018, suggesting that they were going to add this new robot that is your companion, like a little buddy that helps you do some stuff in the game. And then they all like, see, look, hey, look, it's basically Clippy. It's Clippy. It's Clippy. Then they have this this pod around your neck, like a little I don't know. But then they have the Bast drone augmentation link. They even justified it in the game, right? They're Bast drone control cranial implants designed by the Ishikone Corporation, which allows you to interface with this drone. But then there's also a bonus version, the Anubis. Okay, so like the problem with this is that unironically, a lot of people were really ticked off by this April Fool's joke, because there's a lot of people that are interested in this kind of thing. Canonically, in the universe, it makes absolute sense that, yes, it is a real April Fool's Day joke. It makes absolute sense that there would be such things. The Galente have a lot of, augmentations and modifications and, whatever. They have cat girls. They have all kinds of people. So there are definitely people that are interested in this kind of thing. So then to have them kind of show this out, put it into the game, or, make these images and all that stuff and have it be the joke made people really frustrated. And there's been a lot of, it's been brought up a lot since then too, to the point where I remember during my CSM interviews, it basically became a thing that every CSM candidate just got asked about their position on cat ears, just mostly because I had at least somebody in the audience every single time asking, pushing that question. But by the way, I don't think they should have these bonuses or anything like that. No. But yeah, I think that there is a fair amount of like CCP is always, or I think that the real problem here, even going back to the Crimson Harvest stuff and all that stuff, is that EVE Online is always defended that they are grimdark and are not, they're, it's the dark future and it's not connected to our stuff and it's its own universe, or, it's its own thing. And the references are suggestive, if anything, and that it's serious because it's about blowing up spaceships, right? This is why we couldn't have pink skins for a long time. Now, some of that has been given away, or has given away to things, and I think that a lot of that has been acceptable, right? Like the Heart Surge skins were very popular. I like them. People unironically like to have pink skins for some reason, or for whatever reason. But it feels like not only the complications of the actual implications of the crossover, but this crossover represents the largest kind of breach of those, of that ideal of what EVE Online is. This is the largest one we've ever seen, I think. And we've kind of walked our way towards here. People will probably debate for a long time whether or not this was the jumping the shark or the red line or whatever. But it is true that to the people who have been told that their requests are too silly for CCP for EVE Online, they see this as like, why does this happen first? Right? Why can't we at least get what we want? And I think that that honestly becomes a really fair argument. I mean, if you're going to have the bow tie and scarf set up, why not have cat ears? I mean, I guess the question now becomes, if the line used to be that the EVE Online universe is relatively immersive to itself, as much as it can be. But it's difficult to know where CCP is at now when it comes to the lore, when it comes to the universe, and when it comes to their IP. And I'm very concerned about what it could mean because of that. Let's get back to rewards. Back to positive things. The men's dapper suit. The men's dapper suit is basically the same. This is the Doctor Who suit right there. 10th Doctor. Actually, I do want to point out that one of the interesting things I found about this was that they did not choose to link it to the modern Doctor Who, right? Like, this is of the two doctors here. For those of you who don't know, basically the way it works is Doctor Who is always the Doctor, right? It's the same person, but every time he dies, he regenerates. And when he regenerates, he changes appearance and certain things about his personality, i.e., they have canonically written into their universe that they can, remove an actor and replace him with a different actor whenever they need to. So the doctors are numbered, and everybody has a favorite, et cetera, et cetera. So the thing is that this is one of the older doctors. Somebody's going to have to tell me which one it is, 4th, 6th. I don't remember exactly. But this is one of the older doctors. And this is the 10th Doctor, which is the second Doctor when Tom Baker. I know it's Tom Baker, but I don't know the number. So this was the 10th Doctor, which was the second Doctor when they brought it back. So this was the first Doctor that was really popular in America. And the Tom Baker was really, really popular in the... This is... You're right. Wait. No. Time out. Is that really true? Then who's the 11th? Who's the 11th? Oh, God. All right. Fine. I apparently just assumed that I thought we were on... Oh! Right. I forgot my favorite Doctor. That's right. Okay. Yeah. I'm tracking now. It's been a while, okay? Those posts were from 2013, I note. Yes. I get it. David Tennant. My favorite Doctor was the Doctor I was forgetting. I'm sorry. Moving on. This is the 11th Doctor. So my point is that this was the first Doctor that a lot of Americans were first exposed to. And so this is a lot of the modern Doctor Who fan base's favorite Doctor. Notably, there have been 2 Doctors since this one, and yet these are the references we get, which implies to me that it's not like Doctor Who trying to draw attention to the modern day stuff, like they're bringing people to come watch their episodes. It's more trying to just like tie the fan bases together. It's more of a fan service crossover than a IP mutually, like I said, it doesn't feel like it's trying to advertise their current Doctor Who series. It's more the concept of Doctor Who as a whole, the classic, the most iconic pieces of Doctor Who. All right. Also, there's a bunch of boosters from Air. Basically, everything involving exploration, acquisition, pinpointing, range finding, and then this is an odd one, relic analyzer range. So now you can analyze from 15 kilometers, I think it is. Coherence is fine. Relic strength booster is effing strong. You know what? Fine. Fine. Hold on one second. All right, guys. You thought I was joking. So, let's keep going. This is going to be really strong. Relic strength booster. I'm going to definitely take those to do standard relic explorations sometime. This is also really good for alphas. This is really, all of these boosters are really good for alphas. Okay, so let's look at the skins that we get. I actually have not looked at these skins, so we're going to look at them for the first time together. See if we should be excited or not. Oh, here, there is text. This nano counting is apparently designed to invoke the shenanigans and wonder of the paradoxical space-time environments and effects within them, discovered early YC-124. The nano coating is an example of one created by a specialist expert team oriented towards creative work. Recent data from the peculiar warp paradoxes located in New Eden was used by the expert system to create this design. It's weird that they use the word expert system, given that that's like a term in the game. They reuse their terms so much. It is rumored that the expert system has subsequently had to be forcefully terminated and destroyed by the Order of Concord. Unless that is what they're talking about. I think that is what they were talking about. Anywho, whatever. I mean, it's pretty. It's got some cool designs on it. I want to see what it would look like in different lighting effects. I mean, it's no Mohawk grenade. Sorry. No animated skin. Well, I mean, on the one hand, that's kind of disappointing. On the other hand, people are already complaining about dev resources. So having very basic skins like this probably were relatively easy to do. This really feels like they're using this as an opportunity to kind of bridge the gap as they're moving towards FanFest, to be honest. That way their main body can be working on the other stuff, and this is a lot of this content is basically not them. I kind of dig it. I wish it was a little bit more pronounced than that. I wouldn't mind some. There are animated skins. Okay, we're going to keep going then. Omen Navy issue, probably no different. Is there anything going on? Hold on. Yeah, well, hold on. Yeah, it at least has like the rings inside. Let's see about other lights. Nope, the lights are all basically the same. Prophecy. Cool. Heron. Interesting that came out way more orange. These are on Sissy, so I think I get it. I think that the reflective piece of it isn't coming onto as well. You think the Nyx has one? Well, we'll get there. I'm surprised that the MOA doesn't have one. They've got all of the particle effects. No, this one has way more. This one's more orange too. These are more pronounced. It is worth noting that this, again, this is on Sissy, which means these might be iterated on. There could be still issues. I've seen skins get fixed like the day of it being patched over. I look like an old Albanian man. Yeah, I had a Doctor Who themed birthday party like a few years back, and I've always had this ever since. It crushes up. It's easy to transport. That looks pretty cool for the Drake. I like that. I like that design. I like how that looks. Drake Navy issue almost certainly is the same. It'd be kind of cool if like the Navy issue was like the inverse, right? We should do a poll. Hold on. Let's do a poll. Let me go see if I can set up a poll. Oh, come on. There it is. Doctor Who skin. Bad ass or no? They suck. They are all right. They are awesome. They are the best. All right. Oh, shoot. I should have made it longer. Yeah. Let's make it 10 minutes. What? Does not meet guidelines. Oh, because of ass. Good. That's right. We have to be like, no? Are bad. Yay! Okay. Go ahead and vote whether or not you like these skins. While we keep going down. Imicus. Looks pretty okay. As good as a skin can look on an Imicus, I guess. I do like the Vexor one. We're just going to skip the other, the Vexor Navy issue because they all look the same. Once again, yeah. Seeing it from above, I think, is probably the best way for these skins, especially the ones that really show it off. All right. This is one of the problems with the Stabber when it gets skins, is that like a design that's really prominent on another one, because it's so narrow and so long, it sometimes gets like a very small band. Because a band like this projection that's on it, while it's like half of the ship in some places, With a stabber, it's like, actually, when it's the entire ship with some places, it's half the ship with the stabber, I should say. So I'm not sure about this. These also kind of come across as the where is it? I don't know if this one has it, but if I see him later, I'll check it out. The new or the old Eve like event, the tournament skins. So I have my reservations about it, but I have an announcement about these things soon at the end of the show. Cyclone. All right, now we can go. So it's worth noting that all of those that we just saw were in one section of Hobo Leaks. These next skins are part of a different section. Okay, fine. I'll just make the announcement now, just so people know. So today we're discussing the facts of the matter. Tomorrow, as I've said, I have a lot of concerns. Tomorrow, assuming that CCP will still talk to me after this, I will be having an interview with CCP Fozzie and CCP Swift at, let me double check. I 1800 Eve time tomorrow. So 1800 Eve time, myself, Swift, CCP Swift and CCP Fozzie will be sitting down and discussing these event sites, the crossover, what the hell happened, whether or not this connects to the lore at all that kind of stuff. Let's move on. So this one is way shinier. I like it. Still no particle effect. I like the extra shininess of it. Speaking of pink ships, it's got a lot of pink on it. When I do skins, I used to call it the Abaddon test, because back in the day, Amar had more skins than everybody else, so I'd always check to see whether or not it looked good on the Abaddon. And I would say that this one passes the Abaddon test for me. It doesn't have enough capacitor for the animation. Oh, whoa. Yeah, these are the skins from the Doctor Who event. There are going to be some people that want this skin. Oh, it does have a particle effect. Look at that. Look. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. This is hot. This might be one of the best skins I've seen. I know, right? This makes me want to get an avatar. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Aeon? Oh, this one looks more standard. It does have the particle effect. Wait. Is it true that the Abaddon one just isn't working right now? Or did I just miss it? No. Maybe, whatever. Move on. Okay, it's broken. Got it. Yeah, see, because the Raven has it. Oh! I wish it was a little bit less two-dimensional, but oh, God. That's really good. The Avatar is still better. Sorry. These are good skins. I should probably have closed the poll before we jumped into these. Oh well. Oh. I know a few people that's going to want this one. Oh my. Oh, there's ones in the back too. That is really good. That is really good. Is it worth adding the bow tie to the game? I'm not sure, but this is really good. This is really good. The Dami. Although now I'm sad because like oh, down here we have the Omen Navy, Drake Navy. I want a Dominic's Navy skin. Wait, also the Avatar doesn't, or the Abaddon doesn't have a Navy. All of the rest of them are ones that have Navy versions. Interesting. Either way. The Erebus. I think it was I think it would be concerning, or these would come across way stronger if we hadn't already seen the Avatar first. So this one's good. Not an Avatar. This one, I think, shows off the base skin. Like, you know, the Avatar is special, but it looks different. Oh. No, that looks good. That looks really good. Rushlock is hyped for it. Excellent. That I can definitely see why you kept on trying to suggest that I go check out the Nyx. That looks good. Golly. If I ever fly a Nyx, this is 100% my skin. Hold on, let me see. Please let this happen. Please let this go through. All right. Hold on. Sometimes they do. I'm not submitting that bug report. I refuse. Can't make me. Oh! Not on that one, though. That's pretty awesome. All right. I think that's all the skins. And then there are also, finally, there are these cerebral accelerators, just like all of the normal. We have, hold on, let me see. No. Yeah. It's sad how often the skin bugs are exciting. So we have 36% that said that they are bad, 34% that they're all right, 27% said that they're awesome, and 2% said that they're the best. With 5,000 channel points being pumped into it. So I think whatever Griff was voting for, I think got a little bit of an extra weight there. So overall, it looks like people are liking it, but there are also pretty strong reactions to it. I wonder how much that strong reaction is just to the event altogether. But you can also just not care about skins, or just think that they're terrible. It's true. It's true. I did start the poll. Well, I meant I should have done it with each. Bring up the Wyvern and the Rag? Okay. Oh, did I not do the Wyvern and Rag? That looks pretty good. Again, I kind of wish I didn't see the avatar first, but that looks good. Oops. I think it shows off the particle effect better than, because you can see, well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. And which one was the other one I missed? Wavering. No. Rag. Oh no, I haven't kept going, I guess. I didn't get the typhoon either, did I? Rag. This is another one of those ones where I actually don't really like how it lands on the ship. Yeah, I didn't do the typhoon. I must have just I skipped straight to the hell. I was very or the Dominics. I was very excited. I guess I did hell. That, I mean, typhoons are pretty popular, right? I think we're gonna actually see a lot of this one. This one does not have a back two. Just has the front two. Looks like so, by the way, it looks like they more or less reuse the Aurora Borealis particle effect with just a different image on it. So I can't imagine that this, again, I think that this is one of those things that you do. Oh, you can actually see it coming out of the vents in this one. I wonder if that's true with the other ones. Yeah, there you can. That's really cool. Oh, the whole vent is part of it. That's cool. Let me look. Where is... Let's go with the MOA. Everything, the skin, every skin is for the MOA. Yeah, Aurora Borealis. No, that one doesn't have any vents or anything. So yeah, that is a new effect, I think. All right. You can spot the vents on the Abaddon. Oh yeah, that's what those are. Right there and right there. They're turned off. That's interesting. Oh no, wait. Those are there. Hold on. Which vents? I don't think so. If you're talking about those vents, they already were there. Anywho, okay. Anything else that we should cover when it comes to this? As I said, so tomorrow I will be having an interview with CCP Fozzie and CCP Swift at 1800 Eve time. And then on Thursday, for Eve Universe, I'll have Dutch Gunner and anybody else who wants to come on and talk about it, and we will discuss it. Other than that, I'm sure everybody else is going to be talking about it. But I just wanted to, rather than give my solid, I hate it, I love it. One of the reasons why I've been so waffly about it is because we don't have a lot of information right now. So I'm curious as to what it's going to be. I have grave concerns for what it could represent or what it could do. But we'll just have to see, I guess. But I do want to see what other people have to say. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and comment down below, and we will continue the discussion there. And yeah, so hope to see you then. Till then, I've been Ashterothi. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in space.